Welcome to the SundayGorilla Mens Bible study. I'm Brother Thomas Lee Harris III, and we're continuing in our study in the book of Daniel, verse by verse. Great book, powerful book, prophetic book, and we're going to jump right into chapter 11. Also in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I, stood up to confirm and strengthen him. And now I will tell you the truth. Behold, 3 more kings will rise in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than them all. By his strength, through his riches, he will stir up all against the realm of Greece. Then a mighty king shall rise, who shall rule with great dominion, and do according to his will. When he has arisen, his kingdom shall be broken up and divided toward the 4 winds of heaven, but not among his prosperity, nor according to his dominion with which he ruled. For his kingdom shall be uprooted, even for others aside these. Verse 5. Also the king of the south shall become strong, as well as one of his princes, and he shall gain power over him and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. Verse 6. And at the end of some years they shall join forces, for the daughters of the king of the south shall go to the king of the north to make an agreement. So she shall not retain the power of her authority, neither he nor his authority shall stand, but she shall be given up with those who brought her, and with him who begot her, and with him who strengthened her in those times. Verse 7. But from the branch of her roots one shall arise in his place, who shall come with an army, enter the fortress of the king of the north, and deal with them and prevail. And he shall also carry their gods captive to Egypt, with their princes and their precious articles of silver and gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. Verse 9. Also the king of the north shall come to the kingdom of the king of the south, so shall return of his own land. Verse 10. However, his sons stir up strife and assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overwhelm and pass through. Then he shall return to his fortress and stir up strife. And the king of the south shall move with rage and go out and fight with him, with the king of the north, who shall muster a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into the land of his enemy. Verse 12. When he was taken away, the multitude, his heart will be lifted up. He will cast down tens of thousands, but he will not prevail. Verse 13. For the king of the north will return and muster a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come to the end of some years with a great army and much equipment. Verse 14. Now in those times many shall rise up against the king of the south. Also violent men of your people shall exalt themselves in fulfillment of the vision, but shall fall. So the king of the north shall come and build a siege mound, and take a fortified city, and the forces of the south shall not withstand him. Even his choice troops shall have no strength to resist. But he who comes against him shall do according to his own will, and no one shall stand against him. He shall stand in the glorious land with the destruction of his power. Verse 17. He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do, and he shall give him the daughter of women to destroy it, but she shall not stand with him or be for him. Verse 18. After this he shall turn his face to the coastlands, and shall take many, but the ruler shall bring the reproach against them to an end with the reproach removed, and he shall turn back on him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fortress of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall and not be found. Verse 20. There shall arise in his place one who imposes taxes on the glorious kingdom. But within a few days he shall be destroyed, but not in anger or in battle. And in his place shall arise a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of royalty, but he shall come in peaceably and seize the kingdom by intrigue. Verse 22. With the force of a flood they shall be swept away from before him and be broken, and also the prince of the covenant. Verse 23. And after the league is made with him, he shall act deceitfully, for he shall come up and become strong with a small number of people. He shall enter peaceably even into the richest places of the providence. He shall do what his father have not done, nor his forefathers. He shall disperse among them the plunder, spoil riches, and he shall devise his plans against the strongholds, but only for a time. Verse 25. He shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south will be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army, but he shall not stand, for they shall devise plans against him. Verse 26. Yet those who eat of the portion of his delicacies shall destroy him. His army shall be swept away, and many shall fall down slain. But these kings' hearts shall be bent on evil, and they shall speak lies at the same table, but it shall not prosper, for the end will still be at the appointed time. Verse 28. While returning to his land with great riches, his heart shall be moved against the holy covenant, so he shall do damage and return to his own land. At the appointed time he shall return and go toward the south, but it shall not be like the former of the latter. Verse 30. For the ships from Cyprus shall come against him, therefore he shall be grieved, and return in rage against the holy covenant, and do damage. So he shall return and show regard for those who forsake the holy covenant. Verse 31. And the forces shall be mustered by him, and they shall defile the sanctuary forces. Then they shall take away the daily sacrifices, and the places there abomination, and place there the abomination of desolation. I want to highlight that. That's verse 31. Right? They're going to take away the holy and put there the abomination of desolation. Verse 32. Those who do wickedly against the covenant shall corrupt with flattery, but the people who know their God shall be strong and carry out great exploits. And those of the people who understand shall instruct many. Yet for many days they shall fall by the sword and flame, by captivity and plundering. Verse 34. Now when they fall, they shall be aided with little help, but many shall join with them by intrigue. And some who understand shall fall, to refine them, purify them, and make them white until the time of the end, because it is still for the appointed time. Verse 36. Then the king shall do according to his own will. He shall exalt and magnify himself above every god, shall speak blasphemies against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the wrath has been accomplished. For what has been determined shall be done. He shall regard neither God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any god, for he shall exalt himself above them all. Verse 38. But in their place he shall honor a god of fortress, and a god which his fathers did not know he shall honor with gold and silver, with precious stones and pleasant things. Verse 39. Thus he shall act against the strong fortress with a foreign god, which he shall acknowledge, and shall advance its glory. He shall cause them to rule over many, and divide the land for gain. And at the time of the end of the king of the south shall attack him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots, horsemen, and with ships. And he shall enter the countries, overwhelm them, and pass through them. Verse 41. He shall also enter the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape from his hand: Edom, Moab, and the prominent people of Ammon. Verse 42. He shall stretch out Wait, verse 42. He shall stretch out his hand against the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. He shall have power over the treasures of gold and silver, and over all precious things of Egypt. Also the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall follow his heels. But news from the east and the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go out with great fury to destroy and annihilate many. Verse 45. He shall plant the tents of his palace between the seas and the glorious holy mountains. Yet he shall come to his end, and no one will help him. Amen. Amen. And that concludes the 11th chapter in the book of Daniel.